I don't think we've covered who would enjoy this game.
I have to let go of everyone because it's just
Yep.
not an answer. There's no moat in Castle Panic. So if you like moats, you can probably set this game aside.
Hey, it's great to see you again. I'm Craig.
I'm Justin,
And we're your tabletop game guides. Today, we're going to talk to you about Castle Panic, a great fantasy cooperative board game.
You can't forget that Castle Panic has a castle in it. But what kind of players are going to like Castle Panic? No sense whatsoever, those two statements.
I think that Castle Panic is a great introduction to cooperative games. If your group has not played a cooperative game yet, this is a game that you should pick up and try it out. The cool thing about Castle Panic is that there are a lot of smaller problems to figure out, and there's a lot of communication that goes on. So if your players and your table enjoys communicating to solve smaller problems, they would probably love playing Castle Panic and cooperative games in general. The enjoyment of Castle Panic is the engagement of the team.
Yes.
There is a presented problem that everyone has to solve. Sometimes the problems get out of hand, where the group doesn't know how we're going to get through it and needs to work together. There is sort of a frenetic energy that can be present in this game, but it does bring a cohesiveness to the group where everyone's going through it together.
Mm-hmm. I would add it to a short list of games that are excellent at demonstrating cooperative gameplay.
Yeah.
You have to talk about your hand. You have to talk about the pieces on the board collaboratively.
Yeah. This game has a lot of discussion and a lot of group talk, and that adds to the enjoyment of the game. I think one of the appeals of this game as well is that it is very easy to teach. Because it's so cooperative and you can share all the information.
Yeah. Unlike other games that really want you to hold information back or have a constraint rule that you can't talk about something, this game actually works really well even though you freely share information.
It's one of the appeals that cooperative games have together is that you can share information and talk about what different people should do on their turns.
From the lens of a host, though, how might you approach teaching this game?
One of the great things about Castle Panic is that once I am comfortable with it as a game, it is very easy to bring people along to play. You can set out the board, and there are pieces, the castle and the wall pieces, that you can immediately draw other players in to help set up. As you're shuffling the cards, people can turn over the monster tokens. That brings them into the game. And you start off by setting up 6 monsters. As you set up those monsters, they're varied in hit points, so you can explain the hit points as well. You can explain the different rings and how people have the monsters move in at the end of their turn. You deal out the cards, and the cards are set up in such a way that it is easy to explain. The green cards affect the green triangle. The archer affects the archer ring. It's very easy to figure out what your card does to the board.
It's on the card. Like, as you're reading and getting familiar with your hand, you can almost start to deduce the entire rule book.
There are a couple of special bosses, but even the special bosses have a spot on the board that explain what they do. Castle Panic does a great job of playing assistant to you teaching the game. There's a simplicity to the game.
There's no moment of overwhelm laying out what you just laid out.
Yeah.
Like, during setup, I've almost learned 80% of the game.
Yeah.
I can think of a game night where the players in your game night have different levels of energy and different levels of engagement. Castle Panic, if you brought that out for even a 15-minute game, it can be pretty quick.
It's a 45-minute game, though, so...
Why do I feel like it's 15 minutes? That says something right there.
I know. It doesn't seem like a 45-minute game. I think it's because it feels like a lot of mini games. The first opening, you have 6 different targets on the board, and you work towards clearing those. And once you clear those, it feels like there's a new game once you start getting overwhelmed again.
Yeah.
So there are lulls where you have control of the board, and then things start getting out of hand. And so it feels like 2 or 3 smaller games packed into one.
That's it. That's why it felt like 15 minutes. You bring yourself to 15 minutes of intense play, it lulls, and you restart, and it before the game's over. Yeah. Contrary to the name on the box, there's very little panic if you work as a team.
Oh no, there's a ton of panic. Do you remember that time that you flipped over and you had to end up flipping over like 8 monsters? That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was like the second turn. There's a ton of panic.
Yes. I would like to rewrite history that it wasn't my fault that many trolls came out in turn 2.
Who else was picking the tokens? You cannot in good conscience say that there's no panic. You single-handedly caused all the panic.
You could title the game Panic is a Possibility.
So if your group is looking for a fantasy game that'll let you try out collaboration, check out Castle Panic. Also check out our channel for other games you might like to host. Have a great game, everybody.
A group of people I think would enjoy this game are those that are hoping that within their group somebody else wants to step up and host a game night or get a chance to grow. Like,
so if you're watching this channel learning how to host, send it to that friend.
So if you got a friend who's got a really nice house, but they haven't been the host yet,
give them Castle Panic. Yep.